back. Today we are going to be learning about AWS Innovation. Let's begin. So first, what is design thinking? Design thinking is a method that is mainly used for the purpose of comprehending people, questions, problems, and solutions. Design thinking is typically used to turn ideas into physical and evaluatable products as soon as possible. The design thinking framework includes the following three ideas: immersion, ideation, and implementation. So, what are the 5 stages of the design thinking process? The 5 stages are not always followed in a specific order, and oftentimes they occur at the same time while also repeating numerous times. So, first, empathize. This is where you discover your target audience and learn more about the audience, such as their problems and necessities. Next, define. This is where you determine the problem statement by focusing on the user's needs. The problem statement is also used as a guiding tool. Next, ideate. This is where you collaborate with others with different areas of expertise, and in this case, you want quantity over quality. Next, prototype. The goal is to create a product that can be evaluated and critiqued. That is your prototype. Lastly, test. Users will provide feedback that will help determine if your solution or prototype is viable, and this will help you save money in the long term. The Cloud Innovation Center is a chance for nonprofit institutions, education services, and government departments to work with other public sector companies. Here, they can collaborate on issues of high importance, and they can help test issues using Amazon's innovation process, harnessing the technology of AWS. It is open for any nonprofit institutions, education services, or government departments to register to work on an assignment. So, what is Amazon's culture of innovation? Amazon aims to be the world's most customer centric organization, and they do this to the following 4 customer sets: consumers, sellers, enterprises, and content creators. So, what are the characteristics of an innovative culture? First, hire builders. Amazon looks to hire builders with different backgrounds and points of view in order to make decisions. Next, fail fast. People should be able to try all possibilities and be accepting of failure should it come. Next, working backwards. This is when you constantly drive customer-centric ingenious thinking. It is used to make sure that the product delivered is actually what the user needs. Next, 2 pizza teams. So this is where you hire efficient workers to minimize communication and unnecessary meetings. It is named 2 pizza teams, as an innovation team should require no more than 2 pizzas to feed them, as they are a small yet efficient team. Next, what is the formula for innovation? So innovation is equal to culture plus people plus tools and mechanisms. The following is a video on the design thinking process. It will be linked below. Next, the 5 W's of innovation at Amazon. First, what is innovation? Innovation is the successful integration of new thoughts into society. Next, where does innovation take place? Everywhere. It can range from inventing something to improving it. Who innovates? Everyone. Innovation is the way one goes about their work. When does one innovate? Every day. It occurs because of ongoing events and unexpected circumstances. Lastly, why innovate? Because everything depends on it. Innovation creates new opportunities to help serve consumers. Next, models of innovation. So there are numerous models of innovation that each have their own pros and cons. A way to categorize them is by separating it across a continuum of continuous and discontinuous innovation. Continuous innovation is described as incremental, evolutionary, and reactive. These are more linear type changes for constant increase over time. Discontinuous innovation is innovation that is described as disruptive, revolutionary, and transformative. These are non-linear, abrupt changes. Next, the innovation process. The most common process to uphold innovation is known as working backwards. This depends on working deliberately according to the goal and shared thoughts, and constantly injecting innovation into independent and teamwork. This requires working backwards from the customer, meaning constantly coming back positively to reevaluate the problem at hand. Next, working intentionally. It is important that work is both intentful and determined. This siphons AWS's customer obsession into solving a certain conflict. Organizations work specifically to make sure that their business decisions are orderly and managed, and teams work purposefully together. Individual workers take the lead and ownership of their own efforts in order to optimize innovation. So there are two places that are the starting place for working intentionally: the vision and the mental models. The vision is an idea of how certain things could be, contrasting to how they are currently, and these typically contradict conventional ideas. It is important to be rigid on the vision, however, you must be open to be relaxed on the specifics. Next, the mental models. These are basic ideas that act as the base for generating other ideas. They raise ideas from the ground and provide them with superior direction. They're formed as a statement of cause and effect. They help create new ideas. Next, working backwards. So these are made up of the 5 customer questions, which are: who is the customer? What is the customer's problem or opportunity? What is the most important customer benefit? And how do you know what the customer would want or need? The objective of these questions is to maintain the customer's importance and keep them involved in the innovation process. This is a video detailing the innovation process, which will be linked below. Next, working iteratively. So the innovation process becomes iterative, especially during its execution. Many ideas never get past the analysis phase, which is called analysis paralysis. Execution is when an organization chooses to commit to an idea, and then as a result of this commitment, they hire a leader and a dedicated team and a committed team. Successful execution will lead to experimentation, which is the heart of success. However, the research that takes place must be limited to answering specific questions related to serving customers. There are 2 types of decisions: one-way door decisions, two-way door decisions. One-way door decisions are difficult to return to once they have been made, whereas two-way door decisions are reversible and they're made quickly by superior groups as they can be remade if necessary. So where do ideas come from? Ideas come from expertise and a beginner's mind. Opening a mind influences perspective and helps new ideas emerge. This can also prevent personal bias, assumptions, and limitations. Irrational optimism and grit. Ideas that are not commonly accepted should not be neglected immediately. Resilience is extremely important as it helps one make their good idea a reality. Next, being misunderstood is not always a negative. Listening and imaging. Ideas come from visualizing a customer's idea before they can do so themselves. In order to do that, you have to get to know your customer by putting yourself in their shoes. A great amount of AWS's own ideas came from listening to customers. Next, history and science fiction. Ideas come from a combination of failure and success, and ideas can be inspired from external sources. What is a PRFAQ? So a PRFAQ stands for Press Release and Frequently Asked Questions. A press release is a one-page narrative that describes AWS's vision using customer-centric language. A press release is used to envision how the customer will react to the product. It helps sort through ideas and ensure ideas are worthy of future investment. Next, what are the elements of the PRFAQ? This is a skill that takes practice to master, and therefore you have to use a crafting process due to the draft and edit system that is used. You have to share your plan early for feedback from superiors. FAQs are developed to answer questions that a customer may have, and there are 2 types of FAQs. A customer FAQ, where you imagine you are the customer and write questions and answer it based on what a real customer would have, and a stakeholder FAQ, which are questions that your superiors or partners may ask. It is crucial to identify difficult questions early on when working backwards and incorporate these as both customer and stakeholder FAQs. What is a visual? So, a visual is something that allows one to explore the customer experience. It is used to show how the customers will use the product and how they want to use it. As a project matures, the visual can become more detailed. A visual presentation is how pictures, images, and diagrams work together to express ideas. Furthermore, visual presentation maximizes the effectiveness of a presentation. This is a video detailing working backwards. It will also be linked below. Here is an example of a visual that helps aid in the telling of the story. Next, let's discuss Amazon's leadership principles. So these have been incorporated in Amazon since 2002, and they help explain how Amazon conducts business. They also detail how leaders manage and how decisions are formed for customers. These are the 17 leadership principles. So let's discuss them. First, customer obsession. Customer obsession is when leaders begin with the consumers and work backwards. They have to work diligently to maintain customer trust, and they focus on customers while keeping competition under a close eye as well. In order to do so, leaders must have humility and empathy. Next, ownership. Leaders are essentially owners. They have to plan for the future and not sacrifice the future, while still not sacrificing the future for immediate gain. They have to play the role of representing the entire company and take the initiative to help out wherever and whenever they can. In order to do so, they must be persistent and have high integrity. Next, invent and simplify. Workers are required to provide innovation and invention to their work, so leaders should try to simplify matters. They constantly have to look for new and innovative ideas from their workers. And in order to do so, they require diligence, flexibility, and the ability to be misunderstood. Next are write a lot. Leaders have good judgment and intuition, and they look for different perspectives and work to disprove beliefs. So, in order to do so, they must have humility and optimism. Here is a video detailing all of the leadership principles, but let's finish the rest now. Learn and be curious. So leaders are never satisfied and they always look to improve themselves. They're curious about new opportunities. In order to do so, they must be willing to learn and be conscientious. Next, hire and develop the best. Leaders acknowledge outstanding work and willingly promote those who commit these outstanding actions. Leaders create other leaders and seriously consider their coaching of others. Next, this requires courage and investment. Next, deliver results and insist on the highest standards. So leaders have to key in on the main suggestions. They have to, despite problems, persevere and never settle. And in order to do so, leaders must be committed and they must deliver results. Furthermore, they have to insist on the highest standards. Leaders have incredibly high standards and they're constantly looking for more to motivate their team to produce superb products. This requires exceptionalism and being able to be uncompromisable at times. Next, think big and bias for action. Leaders have to encourage broad thinking. Leaders have to encourage ambition as well across the working place at all times, requiring innovation and optimism. Bias for action. Speed is very important in business, and knowing when to take a calculated risk is a valuable skill. This requires leaders to be able to be risk takers and have quick speed when necessary. Next, frugality and earning trust. It's important to maximize spending efficiency. Limits can lead to resourcefulness and clever thinking. Therefore, leaders must be creative and adaptable. Furthermore, leaders must listen, speak, and treat others respectfully. They have to know that their employees are not going to be perfect, which requires trust and honesty on the part of the leader. Next, diving deep and having a backbone. Leaders conduct business at all levels, and they're up to date on all details. They're expected to push through any problem that they may face, as no task should be considered beneath them. This requires leaders to be detail-oriented, and they have to have the ability to demystify any situation that may arise. Furthermore, leaders must have a backbone. They have to be able to make the tough decisions. They have to have a strong view and be ruthless when necessary. This requires conviction and cohesion. Next, deliver results and trying to be the best employer possible. Leaders are viewed this the principle of delivering results is viewed by employees as a highly important one. Leaders have to rise to the occasion and deliver results for certain products. They have to take responsibilities for ideas that they have created for a product. Furthermore, being a leader gives someone the obligation of making the work environment a cooperative and safe place. Employees must be able to share ideas respectfully with others. Employers must also make sure that all of their employees are growing, empathized for, empowered, and ready for whatever may come next. Lastly, success and scope bring great responsibility. The size of a company matters. This is because it gives them power over consumers. Since Amazon is one of the largest companies on the planet, it empowers customers, it gives power to the commander of the company and helps the company expand beyond its current size. That is it for innovation. As always, all of the videos will be linked in the description below. We hope to see you next week. Thank you.